What's going on, everybody? I'm back with another new podcast. And today we are going to talk about discipline. I think this is one of the most important things any man can develop. And we are going to talk about how to develop discipline, the benefits of discipline. And I got a bunch of videos that are gonna help us along, and we're going to see it right in action. So let's get right into it. But before we do, just make sure you subscribe to the channel. Go ahead, hit that notification bell so you know every time I release a video, and don't forget to smash that like button either. But let's get into it.
How can you have a body like that? You disgust me. Aren't you ashamed of looking like that? Every time you walk, there must be an earthquake.
The body positivity movement doesn't normally extend to men.
That's what people think of me. My name's Dewan West, and I work out every single day with one objective in mind.
What's that?
Lose the most amount of weight possible in an effort to be healthy.
There you go. Congratulate this man.
My motivation? To make my father proud. A man whom I think of every day.
Notice he said his father. That's gonna be important.
This is my story in my own words. I'm 23 years old and I live in the US. I train every day, even when it seems too hard. When I started, I weighed more than 200 kilos. To forego a number of things. Excess meals. Bad dietary habits. I even had trouble getting out of my car. But one day, I made the necessary changes.
Sacrifice.
And since that day, nothing can stop me.
Discipline.
My father died of heart failure. It's the #1 killer in the US. And obesity increases the risk of succumbing to the same fate.
But they'll try to tell you that's not important.
I want to make him proud every single day.
There you go.
In 3 months, I managed to lose 20 kilos.
That's 44 pounds for those of us in the US that don't understand the metric system.
My goal is to drop to 110 kilos.
God damn.
And if possible, lose half of my initial weight.
Steve.
But that doesn't stop me from enjoying this figure while I can. And I use it as a source of humor.
Okay.
I love dancing, but my bedroom feels otherwise. My TikTok account, y_Chubbs2funny, is followed by more than 1.6 million people. I share different workout routines, all of my dance moves. I don't care what people say. I'm never going to give up.
There you go. Never should.
Criticism makes me stronger.
Come on now. He's dropping gems.
I love American football.
Gems in
this passion, I train twice as hard. My doctor told me I needed to be healthy. And sport was the best way to achieve that. In order to reach my goal, I need to train relentlessly. And that's exactly what I'm doing. Rain or shine, I'll never give up, as I know that one day, all the hard work will be worth it.
Absolutely. First and foremost, let's congratulate this man for taking his life in his own hands and doing what's necessary in order to live a full and healthy life going into the future. And I wanted to start the discussion here because he said so many important things that I think is vital for everyone. He talked about criticism making him stronger, and that is in stark contrast to what we're seeing today, especially with the body positivity movement taking hold.
And bodies are worthy if they're healthy or they're not. And if you say that that's not true, I'll kick you in the crotch. You're just concerned, but I know that's insincere. And if you don't stop trolling, I will kick you in the rear.
They will tell you there are no inherent risks to being overweight. Obesity is not a main factor in your health. And as long as you love yourself, everybody is a good body. But to me, that is a sign of a weak mind because they cannot handle the criticism of science and facts that tell you being overweight can help you to an early grave. And they just think that it is criticism. But a lot of times it's their own feelings and insecurities being projected on you because that's what the voice in their head is already telling them. And the body positivity movement makes it a little easier to drown out that voice in your own head when everyone else is telling you you are just fine, you are okay. It helps you cope a little easier. And I'm not speaking from a place of ignorance. I am speaking from a place of experience. As somebody that was almost 300 pounds and has lost almost 100 pounds, I can tell you, I know exactly what it's like to have those feelings of being obese, those feelings of wanting to lose weight and not being sure how to do it or not being sure if you can do it, if you have the discipline. And a lot of times, it's not that people don't want to lose weight, they just don't think they can. It's a long process, and if you are not disciplined, you will not stick with it.
When you say self-discipline, what exactly do you mean by that?
The rule number one is to get vitamin N.
Vitamin N.
Yes. That's the rule number one. You need to inject yourself with vitamin N.
N is for?
N is to learn to say no. That's a vitamin. Yeah. That's how to get self-discipline. Secondly, is setting your priorities right. Thirdly, is avoid complaining. Those are the three factors which can lead you to self-discipline. That's why I always tell people, the indisciplined ones are not free. They're in prison. The disciplined ones are free in life.
He is 100% correct and said a lot with a few words because someone that is undisciplined is not free. Imagine anytime someone comes along and says, do this or do that, or your own impulses tell you to do something that's not in your best interest, and you don't have the ability to say no or your priorities set straight, you could be led in any direction, even one that could be detrimental to you, and that's not freedom. The disciplined person isn't going to allow anyone to knock them off of their path to success, even if that person is them. But too often we look at discipline with a negative connotation because a lot of times we only receive discipline in the form of punishment. And while punishment can be discipline, that's not all discipline is. Sometimes it's as simple as making your bed or picking your clothes up off the floor and putting it in a hamper on a consistent basis. Things that can be developed in our childhood. But one of the problems, the main disciplinarian, the father, has too many times been removed from the home. And a mother's first instinct is not to discipline their children, it's to nurture them. So what ends up happening? Because they didn't learn discipline, they may start to follow other people's choices as they get older. And because we start seeing that bad behavior, now the discipline comes in. But what should be happening is the discipline should come in first and hoping that affects the behavior. And I'm not a Bible thumper, but I have read it and I know a lot of y'all might appreciate it, but it does say, teach your kids when you walk on the road, when you lie down, when you get up. Write these words across your doorposts or something to that nature. It just goes to show these are things that should be taught on a regular basis so that by the time they grow up, it is easier for them to use discipline because they've developed it from the time that they were young. And I'm going to prove to you that it is never too early to start teaching your kids discipline and the benefits that come from it.
表情。
4、5、6、7、8、9、10、17、18、19。好，好。
1、2、 来少林寺这边练功夫也就短短的1年。刚开始来的时候是从什么都不会，娇滴滴的一个小孩子，然后到一直锻炼，提升到现在的一个意志力非常坚强的一个小朋友，也可以算是一个小男子汉。
So you see, it's never too early. These kids are 5, 6 years old, training for a year. They are wrapping their bodies around trees, and I know that they are in excruciating pain. But what gets them through? Discipline. They've disciplined their minds to be able to endure that kind of physical torment. I had a 7th grade music teacher once tell us, mind over matter. If you don't mind the pain, it doesn't matter. And I didn't understand how profound that would be and how necessary that concept is for life. And yes, this is an extreme example. I'm not telling y'all to go hang y'all kids around trees, but what I am telling you is that it is important to build up mental fortitude to deal with all of the pressures that life throws at us, all of the ups and downs and problems that we're going to have to solve. If you have discipline and you develop that, you are going to be able to get through successfully, more so than a person that doesn't have any discipline and they're just bouncing around through life hoping that they land on the right square. But where do these kids learn this discipline from? What would make them put their bodies through this? So why do these kids wrap themselves around trees and deal with this kind of excruciating pain? It's because they have good examples on what's on the other side of that training. And that is something that is so important for children now today. They need to see good examples of men that have used discipline in their lives to get them to a place that a child might want to emulate. And if they don't have that example, how can they ever believe in the training? And that's why I wanted to show these videos, just to give that good example of how discipline developed in a child can lead to a healthy, functional adult, a strong adult. So that's something that we need to focus on giving our children, and not just them, but ourselves. Because discipline is something that needs to be developed in your childhood, your teen years, your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, all the way until you are no longer on this earth, because it is going to be important. You are always going to face situations that you need to be disciplined in if you want to make it successfully to the other side. So let's continue to appreciate what discipline can give us and make sure we're developing it for ourselves, for our children, so that we can have healthy, functioning adults who are strong-minded. But that's gonna do it for this video. So subscribe to the channel, like the video, and if you guys have anything to say, please leave it in the comments below. And until another time, I'll see you guys later.